for watching. I'm Prerna Agarwal, Technical Product Owner for the Guardian. Today we'll be giving you Guardian update of Sprint 100, which is September 15 to September 26th. So just a quick overview of the agenda. We'll be looking at the Guardian roadmap. We'll be also talking about the issues that we tackled in Sprint 100. Then we'll be flipping over and giving you a short demo on Sprint 100. Then we'll be talking ahead of week of September 29, which is Sprint 101. And we'll be also talking about the issues that we'll be tackling in 101. We'll be talking about the upcoming releases. And at the end, we'll be also giving you some of the ways that you can submit bugs or policy requests through various different channels. Talking about Guardian Roadmap, so we completed some of the documentation of giving you some of the ways to implement the best practices on schema cycle. Then we are working on the Guardian Form UI improvements. We are also working on the next phase of tools, evolution, and Guardian policies. And at the end, we are also working on the complex iterative review and approval workflows. Talking about Sprint 100, so Sprint 100, we committed to 50 story points and we delivered 34 story points, which includes 4067, which is adding an option to hide some buttons in case the policy is discontinued, and 2 of our documentation, which is 5062, which is need to implement best practices, and also for 507, which we have updated the walkthrough in the documentation. Let's look at Sprint 100 demo. So the first ticket what we'll be looking at is 5062, which is need to implement best practices on schema cycle. So basically, as you all know, the current schema cycle in Guardian, it covers schema design, creation, validation, mapping, and data submissions. But the current schema cycle is complex and it is not trivial to navigate. So in order to retain this complexity, there is a lack of clear documentation which leads to misconfigured schemas, incorrect imports, validation errors, broken submissions, and increased support and onboarding type. So in order to solve this, what we have done is we have updated our documentation. So if you go to our docs.hedera.com, underneath schemas, under standard registry, underneath schemas, now you would be able to see best practices to implement schema, which we have a detailed documentation of how to move forward from designing the schema in the Excel, and then how to develop it, how to validate it, and then how you can actually do the version control and migration if needed. And then you can also use different criteria for conditional and visibility logic, how you can reuse and modularity, and at the end, how you can document and perform or maintain the metadata of the schemas in Guardian. So to get more information, you can actually look at our documentation and see. If you have any questions, feel free to please reach out to us. Second ticket, what we'll be looking at is the update walkthrough in documentation, which is 4507. So there was existing API documentation in our docs, but now what we have done, that was IREC initially, and it wasn't been updated. So now what we have done is we have taken Vera VM33 as a reference, and then we have added a detailed documentation walkthrough, which is API and UI. As you can see here, that if we have just added each of the screenshot relevant to that API endpoint, and what are the request parameters you need to send, and what are the responses you would expect from that to be done. So you would see a detailed documentation in this. In a documentation, if you go to getting started, you should be able to see as a VM33 API walkthrough. So that was a demo on Sprint 100. Now looking ahead of week of Sprint 101. So 101, right now we are committing to 69 story points, which includes some of the tickets, which is 2837, which is an enhancement of the tools evolution, and then 4754 import Excel to check for duplicates by schema name, 4548, which is complex iterative review for an approval workflows, and at the end 5042, which is Guardian Form UI improvements. Talking ahead of the releases, our last release was on Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Our next release will be on Friday, October 31st, 2025. So there are multiple ways to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on GitHub. You can submit policy requests, enhancements, or if you find any bugs, you can log those bugs into our Guardian issues GitHub. Then if you haven't joined our Discord, you can join our Discord by visiting at hedera.com/Discord. And when you get there, search for Sustainability Channel. Or you can directly reach out to us by submitting a policy request or enhancements or bug through our website, which is www.envisionblockchain.com. Or you can also email us and reach out at info@envisionblockchain.com. Thank you. Have a great day.